This program is proudly brought to you by Sportingbet.
I'm Nick Quinn and welcome to Chewing the Fat. Today, sadly, is the final show of our first season, but what a season it's been. Tomorrow at Sandown, the highlight will be the Group 2 Sandown Classic. It's going to be an outstanding day of racing with 9 quality races, and we're going to help you find as many winners as possible. Steph Grentell from Inglis joins us on the couch today as Natalie takes a well-earned break, and Edward Sadler, as always, is a guest. How are you, Edward?
Yeah, good. I'm a pretty regular guest, Nick, but no, good to be here and good to have Stephanie Grentell here with us as well to help us find a winner just in case you and I can't, Nick.
It is fantastic to have Steph with us on the couch today. Now, Steph, you are an employee of Inglis. Tell us about what your job involves.
I am. I'm a bloodstock consultant for Inglis, so obviously I work in the bloodstock department. I buy and sell horses for clients. That goes on throughout the year. At the moment, we're finalising our yearling sale catalogues. We've just finished our physical inspections and we're going through and getting those hopefully off to the printer in the next couple of weeks, so everyone will have the catalogues in their hot little hands before the end of the year.
Fantastic. Now, I would imagine there'd be quite a lot of pressure placed on your shoulders?
There certainly is, yeah. We take our job very seriously and we certainly don't make the decisions lightly. You know, this is people's livelihood and they depend on these sales for their income for the year. So, yeah, we do take it very seriously.
Well, fantastic. I'm looking forward to hearing your insight into some of the horses that are going around at Sandown. And I presume a lot of horses that you had a part in selling.
Yes, certainly. And, you know, we inspect every horse that goes through a yearling sale and we've seen them at least twice before they actually get to the sale ground. So it's good to see them and follow them through on the racetrack.
Fantastic. Now, Edward is jumping around like a kid on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, there's a few things I have to say here. Obviously, it's the end of the season, so I've built up all the gags I've wanted to throw here, Nick. But obviously, you're a betting man. No, Natalie, as you mentioned, but you did make a bet last week. A bet is a bet, so when do you want me to use these?
I do believe the bet was if Black Caviar didn't win, I'd happily shave my hair.
No, and then it was if Sabres didn't run a place. Nat could dress up as Wonder Woman. Surely we can cut your hair at the end of the show.
I think we'll have to go to the tape to have a look because I certainly did not say and agree to those terms and conditions. Instead, it gives me a greasy look.
The other thing I wanted to point out is obviously, Nick, racing's a tough game. There's good and bad elements for everyone, isn't there? You agree with that, Steph?
I totally agree.
You
take
take
the ups and downs.
Don't encourage him.
Downs. Now, there's good news and bad news. I've got a break here on the Chewing the Fat set. The bad news, ladies, don't throw your laptops away just yet, but Nick Quinn is engaged. The good news, I'm still single. So that's the good news to come out of this week's show.
Absolutely. And there's gentlemen jumping up and down for joy at that news and floats in Sydney that Edward's announced he's still single. So we're going to take a short break on Chewing the Fat. When we return, we're going to preview the Group 2 Zipping Classic.
Viewers, don't worry, you're still watching Chewing the Fat and not MTV Cribs, but terrific to be here in your lovely apartment, Nat.
Thank you for coming.
It's a shame you couldn't join us on the set, but you're obviously very busy with Totally Wild and all your other media commitments. Now, great having you on Chewing the Fat this season. What were your highlights?
There's been so many to mention, but I'll start off with the horses' names this spring. They have been so relevant to the show and to the people on the show. Helmet and Nick Quinn, perfect example.
Secret Admirer and you and
Bree, of course. Then there was Pinka Pinka, because I love pink and everything I have is pink, 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 pink.
And just the fact that it was a 33-1 was just a bonus.
Exactly, it actually was just a bonus. So yes, their horses' names has definitely been one of them.
Now, we've had a lot of scandals on the show. It's been quite a bit of a ride at different times, actually. Got quite hot in the kitchen, so to speak. We first of all in episode 2 of the Cameron Gate scandal, but we're not going to put pressure on you now, not going to get into that one, but we capped it off. It was bigger than Black Caviar on Stakes Day. It was the Quinn Gate scandal.
It certainly was. Never before have I seen anything like it. Unbelievable.
Slitherer.
Talk about a daily double, Edward.
I know, but I would have thought after 13 weeks we got to know Nick pretty well, but obviously not.
Turns out we didn't, did we?
very disappointing. Have you got anything? You're obviously going to be able to join Nick on the set this week. Have you got something you'd like to say to him?
Disappointed, Nick. Disappointed. Thought you were better than that, but obviously not. But there's always room for improvement in season 2 of Chewing the Fat.
Definitely. Now, how about the special guest? You grew quite an attachment to Cameron White, and obviously you and Andrew Walker are friends. And,
yes.
But also you got to meet some of the big players in the game, Paul Snowden and Michael Rodd.
It was very exciting. I thought we had some excellent guests on the show, and some of the interviews were fantastic. I loved your track work interviews. I especially loved the interviews after at the barrier draw, the Melbourne Cup barrier draw. It was great to hear from the trainers and hear who they thought their biggest threats were. I loved those interviews, but I really did love the guests on the couch. Michael Rodd was definitely a favourite, and then Cameron White was great to learn about cricket. Really loved cricket, so it was good to talk to him.
Do you love cricket more though after meeting Cameron White?
I like cricket.
Are you like the new, I think, Liz Hurley?
He's a nice person. He's very intelligent. Liz Hurley. It was just good to speak to someone intelligent rather than you and Nick.
I'll take that as a good All right, Nat, it's been great having you on Chewing the Fat. Looking forward to doing it all again next year.
Thanks, Edward. Me too.
Sporting Bet is built by punters for punters, so you get the very best experience. At Sporting Bet, you can expect more from the latest in customised betting with black books, favourites and iForm. Plus, Sporting Bet covers all the exotics, including trifectas, quinellas, exactas and first four. Bet fast online or at sbet.mobi on your mobile, anytime, anywhere. That's why there's no better bet than a Sporting Bet.
Welcome back to Chewin the Fat. The carnival shifts its focus to Sandown tomorrow, and the expected track conditions for Saturday will be: the rail will be in the true position. The track is expected to be a dead 5 with the weather overcast, but there has been a lot of rain here in Melbourne in the past 48 hours, so that could be downgraded. Race 6 is the Group 2 Zipping Classic over 2,400 metres and only a small field of 5 runners to go round.
Well, let's look at the market, obviously named after Zipping, who won this race the past 4 years in a row. American is the $1.55 favourite on Sporting Bet. Marine at $4.20, the only Victorian runner in the field. Manigat and Lamasery on the third line of betting, each at $9. And write your own ticket for Sapta Party.
And this may be the last time we see American race in Melbourne, guys.
Depends what they do, I think. We spoke to Stephanie, the strapper of American, through the week, and we'll play that interview shortly. But she was basically hinting that depends on what happens on Saturday. They might, more than likely, I'd say, go to Hong Kong. And it sort of depends, I think, on how Hong Kong pans out, because it's so close, you know, that international meeting, by the time they come out of quarantine and whatever, it's so close to the autumn that you don't know what way they're going to go. As for my tip for the race, I think American should just win it easily. He's the best horse in the race, with the roughie, I think, being Lamasery.
He was disappointing last year in Hong Kong, or last time.
But he did
Kong.
have excuses. Apparently, he was galloped on. So.
But do you think that will have an impact on whether they want to head back there to right the wrong from last time?
I don't know, but it's just look. It's a top meeting, isn't it? At the end of the year, there. I'm not sure their reasons, but I think when you're in this part of the world, especially, it's not far to travel to Hong Kong. Personally, I would love to see him run here next year, because I think our weight for age horses in our stays are pretty ordinary at best. So I think he would easily win an Australian Cup, and I think he would even be better in a race like the BMW weight for age, Rose Hill on Golden Slipper Day. So
I don't cop that galloped on excuse either. You know, when they come back and they've been beaten, there's always an excuse.
But you're a die-hard punter. You don't take any excuse for losing.
Yes. Well, you touched on the fact you did do an interview with
Stephanie Grentell, I think. My French isn't as good as yours, Nick. As well as Charlie Henson representing the Manigat Kamani team. Stephanie, American, terrific run on the Melbourne Cup. How's he come through it?
He put up really well, and he take 4 kilos on, and he is fresh and happy.
How's his work been since then?
Very steady. Every day we want just to have him fresh and not to, don't work too much because he's not used to run so close between each race, and he's fine.
Charlie Manigault runs in the Zipping Classic at Sandown on Saturday. How did he come through the run of the Melbourne Cup?
Yeah, good. He did a piece of work yesterday and that was all good. Didn't need a hard bit, but just to open him up. And look, we're all song, ready to go.
He went forward in the Cup. Was that just because of the wire barrier draw, or would you like to see him go forward again on Saturday, do you think?
Look, they didn't go very quick from the gates, and obviously Damien was adamant that he got the horse to jump right, and look, he had a great position the whole of the race, but look, he was one of the only horses that managed to stay up there from being on the pace.
And just a review of our selections for the Zipping Classic. We've all picked Americane, all very obvious, but I think he's a clear one to beat. The other Group 2 for the day is race 7, the Betfair Sandown Guineas over the mile for 3-year-olds. Inglis does have a few graduates in this race. We have Grand Britannia, came from our Melbourne autumn yearling sale, highly recommended from Easter in Sydney, Instinction, a Premier graduate from Melbourne, Amar Rock Easter, First Course Premier, St Etienne Classic, and Red Rain from Premier as well.
So only half the field. So.
Yeah, very proud of ourselves with that one, very proud.
Grand Britannia, the name Marvel, just every week go around, chase home Seapoy and other superstars.
Just a gem, he really is.
Earns a check every time he goes out.
Yeah, wouldn't you like to own one like him?
Absolutely. Anything, have you got another one you haven't sold that you can steer us into?
I've actually tipped a Premier graduate, each way, Red Rain, Simon Zara, Matthew Allerton. Really love the horse as a yearling and I'm happy to follow him through into this race. I think he's an untapped talent.
Beautiful. Will you continuing the tradition of the female co-hosts who sit there tipping winners at big prices,
yes,
hopefully?
I hear the boys sit on the fence a little bit, so I thought I'd better go long.
I think 2 people putting their heads on the chopping block is enough. I'll just be the voice of reason here. Now, you mentioned the big odds that the girls are tipping. Let's have a look at how big these odds are. Thank you to Sporting Bet. Galar's the favourite at 3.20. Mahasara at 5.50. Mental at 9s. Armour and Niagara at $10, and So Swift at 12s, 14s for Highly Recommended, Instinction and Red Rain, both at $16 and $21 or better for the rest, Nicholas.
Now, we do take the mickey out of you from time to time for sitting on the fence and not making your mind up, but you're actually quite keen on one here at a big price.
I would like Highly Recommended because you look at the Carbine Club, I mean, Galar, I know they've made excuses for him. They said he was flat, that they've just taking it easy with him the last couple of weeks to make sure he's right for Saturday. But it was still, a nose or a bit more than a nose that separated the two on the line. Galar's at 3.20, Highly Recommended at $14, at the 14s. I'm a fan of Highly Recommended and he's trained by the best horse trainer going around, so...
The stable changed to John Sadler.
I can't be biased. No, Peter Moody's stats and figures tell you he is the best horse trainer going around at the moment, and I think those odds he's certainly worth backing each way.
All right, fair enough. No, I'm never going to put someone for tipping a $14 chance.
I think Galar is the best horse in the race, but if you took the $1.30 in the Carbine Club, as I'm sure you did, Nick, you would have had your heart in your mouth over the 200. He just needed all the urging from McAvoy to get to the line, and I think... I'm a big fan also of Armour Rock. I think he's a very good horse. Niagara was a bit keen in the Derby. He comes back.
He was doing well. He made his decision, but now he's...
the 16.
I actually backed Niagara in the Derby. I thought he looked a treat in the yard, so he didn't run to plan, but anyway.
Horse that you picked, Stephanie, Red Rain, terrific run at Flemington last week on Stakes Day. So look, I think if Galar runs to his best, he wins. If he doesn't, I think there's quite a few chances.
Personally, I like Galar, and I believe Edward Sadler caught up with the trainer of Galar,
Paul Snowden,
and Master Caulfield trainer Mick Price.
Galar, how did he come through his win in the Carbine Club?
It's pretty good, mate. He's trained on well, and we haven't had a lot to do with him since then. He's pretty much there now, so he's in good order and he's drawn well, so that's also a plus.
It was sort of a heart-in-your-mouth sort of win on the Carbine Club. What did you make of it?
Yeah, just raced a little bit flat for mine. Definitely didn't have that turn of foot that he showed us at Caulfield, so as I said, we just ticked him over since then, and he's a really good order. Distinction coming off a good win of Flemington on Saturday.
Yeah, always wanted to get to the mile. I think Saturday favoured him. He did a good job, but it was a bit of a slow pace early and dash home for those horses. But look, you've got Carbine Club form going into the race. Saint Etienne, Galar and highly recommended. Those horses obviously will front up. He's a pretty good horse in Instinction, and always I'm sort of really looking forward to getting to 1600. Saint Etienne's a good 1600 metre horse anyway, so a couple of nice chances in the race.
And don't forget, all the interviews can be viewed in full at victorianstallions.tv/news. And case for Red Rain, I thought he was fantastic at Flemington last week, as you said. And before that at Moonee Valley behind Miss Stella Bell and Karuta Queen, well, those two fillies are above average, and I think his fifth behind those was a very good run. So he'll be getting my hard earned this week.
Beautiful, at a nice each way price.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And value's what we're always after as punters, isn't that right, Quinny?
Any price is a good price if it's a winning price, is my philosophy.
Just to recap the selections, Edward has tipped Galar, even though he talked a lot about highly recommended. I've tipped Red Rain each way, and Nick has gone for Galar.
Give it strength.
He's a bit of a favourite backer, I have to say, Nicholas.
Yeah, fence sitter, I call them.
Not sure there's any real reason for that pot now. Getting a little bit sad, a little bit emotional, as I touched on in the opening. It's the final episode of the first season of Chewing the Fat. Sorry for speaking while Edward was interrupting. We're going to take a break now, and as we do, we're going to relive some of the memorable moments from the first season of Chewing the Fat.
Cameron White, welcome.
Thanks, Nat. Thanks for having me.
Bit of a polish there to start the show.
Yeah. Robert, welcome to the couch here at Chewing the Fat.
Thanks, Dudley.
Now, you're really on fire at the moment. You're equal leader in the Trainers Premiership and a phenomenal strike rate.
We had a really good start to the season.
I'm now joined on the couch by my co-host Natalie Hunter and leading Melbourne model Ali Johnston. Ali, how are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you guys?
Yeah, good. I fought off the other boys to keep doing the interviews. Joined in the studio by Cale Morton. Cale, welcome.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I've heard so much about the show and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I think I was a third-year apprentice then when I was over in Dubai, and I was riding under the care of your father, and yeah, it's I sort of pinch myself a lot sometimes, Tom, because sorry, Tom. Edward, I'm calling you brother.
Yes, that's right. I'm the face of Caulfield this year, and it's going to be very, very busy. There's so much happening, which is fabulous.
Joined on the couch now by Ian Remington. Ian, welcome.
Thank you very much. We're seeing horses that are coming through a weight for age preparation, heading to Caulfield Stakes, the Umber Stakes, Cox Plate. We've also got those that are going to deviate to our big feature handicaps.
Congratulations on the fantastic win of Helmet in last week's Caulfield Guineas.
Yeah, it certainly was a great day. Obviously the horse turned up and he was the best one, and you know he's the main flag bearer really for him and Seapoy for the rest of the spring.
Sporting Bet is built by punters for punters, so you get the very best experience. At Sporting Bet, you can expect more from the latest in customised betting with black books, favourites and iForm. Plus, Sporting Bet covers all the exotics, including trifectas, quinellas, exactas and first four. Bet fast online or at sbet.mobi on your mobile, anytime, anywhere. That's why there's no better bet than a Sporting Bet.
Increase your chances of winning by nominating your yearling to Australia's richest incentive scheme, Super Vobis. Super Vobis guarantees you higher rewards on the racetrack and makes your yearling more attractive to prospective purchasers. With over $13 million of incentives on offer every season, Super Vobis is the colour of money. Nominations close February the 1st, so for further information, call Super Vobis on 03 9258 4694 or visit the website.
Welcome back to everyone who decided to stay with us after seeing those clips. Race 8 tomorrow at Sandown is the Group 3 Eclipse Stakes over 1800 metres. And a small but competitive field here, Edward. Can you take us through the market, please?
I can, Nick. Erewhon is the favourite at $4.20. Ahead of Extra Zero and Belgietto at $5. Platinum Passion, Mike Moroney's mare, is at $8, $9 for Ginga Dude, Folding Gear at 10, 12 Ulundi, and $16 or better for the rest of the field.
Beautiful. Stephanie, is there something here that takes your fancy?
Yes, I've gone, again with a long shot, I've gone with Ulundi, the Pat Carey trained galloper by Helenas. I just thought he was very good at Flemington last start, third behind Bellissimo and Faulkner. I know he battled on and Faulkner was a very, very good win, but I just thought this might just suit him today.
Paddy Carey won this race a few years ago with Utility, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, at big odds too. I think probably similar odds
Yeah, absolutely.
And look, you can get really good odds and really good value if you like something here, because final day at Flemington Sandown Classic Day, 2 perfect examples where you've got fit horses who might have started their spring campaigns a little bit later up against horses who are pretty tired by this time of the carnival. And look, the tired horses might be the ones with better form, but they've had enough. So you do often get surprise results, but history suggests that that does happen quite regularly at this time.
I'm going to stick with the tough Kiwi Gingadood. Love the horse's win at Moonee Valley on grand final eve. Has had a few nice runs between now and then, but is tough, is fit. Any sting out of the ground's only going to help. And I think about the $9 quote with Sporting Bet Australia. Looks an each way special.
I like Extra Zero from the David Hayes camp. Had 2 good runs last couple of starts. Finished second in the Kunji handicap when they said he could have been ridden a little bit better that day. He finished second behind 4 Tapper, who stormed down the outside on that occasion, and then finished second behind Lamasery on Cup Day. And look, Lamasery is a horse I've got plenty of time for, so I think those 2 form lines are pretty good coming into a race like this. But interestingly, you know, I think our tips just show how open the race is. You know, none of us have tipped the favourite Erewhon. Well, through the week I caught up with Gary Fennessy as well as Mike Moroney at Flemington. This is what they had to say about their chances for this year's Eclipse Stakes. Extra Zero runs in the Eclipse Stakes and is in pretty good form at the moment.
Yeah, very consistent horse. Put up his runs a couple of times. He'd ridden a bit closer 2 starts back and he just faded a bit, but this is probably his maximum distance, and yeah, he's in great order, the horse, so you'd think he'd be nearly winning the race.
Platinum Passion runs in the Eclipse Stakes at Sandown on Saturday. What do you think of her run on the Matriarch?
Yeah, look, I was a little disappointed with the run. Just got over racing a little wee bit, and probably in hindsight, probably went into a bit on the fresh side. She hadn't run for 3 weeks. So in that sense, we're going to back her up. Last time we backed her up, she won quite well at Caulfield. So really starting to really thrive now. So you know, I'm glad I've made a decision to back her up.
And just reviewing our selections, Edward has gone for Extra Zero, I've gone for Yolandi Each Way, and Nick has gone for Gingadood.
Race 5 is the last race we're going to discuss. Everyone chewing the fat this season anyway. It's the Group 3 Alana and Madeline Foundation Stakes over 1,500 metres, obviously going towards a very good cause here. Let's have a look at the Sporting Bet market. Under the Eiffel is the favourite at $2.70, Lunet at $3.80, Sistine Angel at $8, Nine Tails and Rockpecker at $10, Largo Lad at $14, then Here the Angels and Orbit Express 15s, and Jungle Ruler and the Big Steel at $16 each.
And what a nice little special for the punters to win the Spring Carnival here with Under the Eiffel. $2.70, you might get $3 on the day. Just take whatever money you've got, put it on, watch the race, and you've tripled up. Surely.
Oh, I don't know. I think it might be a little bit more open than that. There's some good old tough horses here, and especially if we keep getting rain, Jungle Ruler, you know he can lob at odds.
And the thing about Jungle Ruler too, I haven't tipped him, but he does go forward and can make his own luck. So, I mean, I think in the way most races are run, you need a horse like that who can make his own luck. I've gone for Lunet. I think, you know, he's had 2 runs under his belt now. He should be at his peak fitness. And I think, I'm a big fan of this horse. I think he's one of the better horses in the race. Under the Eiffel's obviously a very a top chance in this. And I think the best of the rest really is Rockpecker for mine.
So what were you two doing on Cup Day when they did run the last race? Did you knocked off for the day? Were you in a marquee having a champagne or something? I
was in a marquee.
Having a champagne?
Not to watch it.
Yeah, tries not to watch. What about you? What's your excuse for not seeing Under the Eiffel's last win?
I was on the road.
There we go. So you'd already left the track.
I'd left the track.
And you were battering the eyelids at some bloke with a champagne in hand.
Yeah, that sounds about
Pretty
right.
much.
Yep.
Well, Under the Eiffel was one of the most impressive winners all carnival, and I think we'll make it 3 straight wins tomorrow.
No, I thought he was very good. You are right. He did really fly down the outside and just was very impressive, that turn of foot the last 100 metres. But
lovely having someone here that makes some sense. Where have you been?
I have tipped against him. I have tipped against him. I've gone for the old-timer Rockpecker Each Way. I thought his last start was fantastic. He really drove home, and I backed him each way then as well, so he just missed out.
Is he a Flemington horse, though?
Oh, I think he's a big track horse. Yeah, I think he's a super horse, and look, he always looks a treat and always puts in. He just tries all the time. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think he's my each way bet in the last.
Beautiful.
Second last.
Well, through the week, Nicholas, I caught up with Gary Fennessy as well and Andrew Noblet to discuss their chances for this year's race, the Alana and Madeline Foundation Stakes. Sistine Angel runs on the weekend, probably going to go towards the Summon Stakes on Saturday. What do you think of her run on the mire?
The mile was fair. She got a bit of a prat out of the gates and ended up where we didn't really want to be, back inside them. Ended up on the inside of the track, which wasn't ideal on the day, but you know, a little excuse there, but at the same time she went fair.
Largo lad, our third start this preparation. Why was he scratched from the Emirates?
No, he was first emergency in the Emirates and just didn't get a run. That was the race we'd set him for all spring. It was just bad luck. We were just too far down the list. But yeah, as a horse that first up was a brilliant run, and then that told on him a little bit second up. He'd had a year off with a tendon injury, and this should be his best run, I'd say, the third up, and 1500 around there should suit him.
And just to recap our selections, Edward has gone for Launay, I've gone for Rockpecker Each Way, and Nick has gone for the favourite Under the Eiffel.
Well, if you thought the emails we've had so far on Chewing the Fat have been interesting, it just gets better. We're saving the best for last. That's coming up right after the break. You're watching Chewing the Fat thanks to Sporting Bet.
Sporting Bet is built by punters for punters, so you get the very best experience. At Sporting Bet, you can expect more from the latest in customised betting with black books, favourites and iForm. Plus, Sporting Bet covers all the exotics, including trifectas, quinellas, exactas and first four. Bet fast online or at sbet.mobi on your mobile, anytime, anywhere. That's why there's no better bet than a Sporting Bet.
Austbrokers Bloodstock. For horse owners, by horse owners. With all the answers to protect your investment, Austbrokers work for you to provide the right cover and the best value. And most importantly, they're in your corner when you make a claim. Austbrokers' business is built around relationships. That's why our clients have been with us for so long. Horses are not just our business, they're our life. Why not talk to one of our team today? Call us on 029 570 8355 or go to our website bloodstockinsurance.com.au. Austbrokers, young faces, years of experience.
Yes, and welcome back to Chewing the Fat. Well, it's regrettably that time of the show again when we do read the letters. And Edward, once again, is very excited, so I'm reluctantly going to throw over to Edward to see what he's got to say here.
Both my letters concern your good self here.
No, I'm stunned. You could blow me over with a feather.
Okay, so the first one here is from Bill from Caulfield, and Bill has to say, loves the show, always watches, but is got a bone to pick with Nick Quinn. Every time Nick says, the more money you put on, the more money you win, Bill puts a lot of money on, and most of the time he loses. He said, bad enough with the stock market the way things are going. His super's not looking too good, but Nick Quinn just makes it that extra bit worse.
And he's made the call again today. The more you put on, the more you get back.
Bill's going to be basking in the street, I would say.
An angry face of Caulfield.
Angry face of Caulfield, yes. And the other one we've got is from Donald from RA. Donald has to say, love Nick Quinn's hair. I've been struggling with, I love the way how after the first episode, since then, it's just grown and grown and grown. I wish mine could do the same. Does Nick have any tips for me?
They're good, those hair jokes. Keep reeling them out and we might stumble across a funny one eventually.
But do you have any advice for Donald? I mean, he's running out of hair. You can't get enough.
You know, the way I'm punting, I'd be more than happy to sell him some of mine. Steph, have you got a more serious email there?
Yeah, I do have. I have one serious one. Chuck from Canada. Hey guys, watch the show every week over here and love it, so well done. When are you bringing the show over here?
Oh, that's
Keep
a
up
good
the good work. I'll certainly put my hand up for that trip.
Yeah, I'll go to Canada.
I only fly first class, but I can't see that being a problem.
And the second one, Pato from Carrum. Watched the show this week and finally Quinny tipped a winner. Gee, I hope he backed it and bought himself a new suit.
Obviously not. He's wearing the same suit as last week. So,
same, different shirt or same shirt?
I think that shirt's gone around a few times.
Okay, pushing right on. I've got one from a gentleman named Chip. It just says from Victoria, so I'm not sure where Chip is from. But he said, did note that Natalie Hunter was battling in the celebrity tips in the Herald Sun, but on the last day she had $100 on He's Remarkable, and as a result finished on top of Cameron White and Jack Watts, so go Nat. So
now,
there
when
we
you
go.
say Chip from Victoria, is that representing Victoria or is that just where he's from?
Just says Victoria, mate. Unlike you, I take my email segment very seriously. Now, it has been a wonderful, wonderful spring carnival. I actually do get a little bit depressed at the end of the spring carnival. Off air before, I compared it to coming home from a dream holiday, you know. You go to Hawaii, you're all excited, you're there, you have fun, and then you're back and you're a bit flat and it's all over. Does it feel like that with you when the spring's over?
It does feel like that a little bit, although we're gearing up for the sales, so I don't have much time to be too sad. But like I said to you, yep, it's like a kid at Christmas time. You've opened all your presents and it's all over. The surprises are all finished. So, but a little bit of time to be sad, but then straight back into the sales for me.
And the other thing about it too is, Nick, unlike the autumn, which is all over in the space of 4 weeks, the spring, you know, you start off with the Ori Star and the Liston and it slowly builds up. But then it goes so quickly once you do get to, say, Caulfield Guineas Day. It's all over very quickly. So you really love the build-up and then it's all gone very quickly.
It is indeed. Now, just quickly, can we get a highlight for you from the Spring Carnival and a horse to follow going forward?
On a personal note, the highlight was Sister Madly winning the Salinger. But from a racing perspective, I think Black Caviar's return on Caulfield Guineas Day and just in general, Caulfield Guineas Day, one of the best days racing I've ever been to, so I'd say that was my highlight. And the horse to follow, I think, from the Mick Price stable is Proliferate. Really liked the way he won during the Flemington Carnival, and I think he's a horse that will mature and could be an AJC Derby type come the autumn.
Very nice. I'll wait for the pre-post markets with Sporting Bet to come up there.
My well, apart from Black Caviar All Spring Carnival, my highlight was actually Pinker in the Cox Plate. She went in there at odds and I thought maybe she could run a nice 5th or 6th, but she really proved everyone wrong. It was a gem ride by Craig Williams and she was a Melbourne Premier graduate, so I'm a little bit biased that way, and I do like the Stallion Reset. And my horse to follow, I might be a little bit late with this one, but I think Galar will go on to much bigger and better things. I know he had a setback at the start of the spring, which pulled him out of the bigger races. That's why we've sort of seen him towards the tail end. But I think next year and in the autumn, he'll be a horse to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. And Pinker, as tipped by our co-host Bree Lachlan that day. She tipped the winner and the exacta.
33 to 1.
Yep, something for the battlers there.
Your horse to follow, Collar?
My horse to follow will not be Collar, no. My horse to follow will be Tanby, the stablemate. I thought Tanby was very unlucky not to get a start in the Melbourne Cup, was just beaten in the Geelong Cup by Dunedin, beaten home Filthy Bower, and then came out and won impressively next start. So in 12 months' time, I wouldn't be surprised if we were sitting on this couch here talking about Tanby winning the Melbourne Cup.
I have to say I wasn't a fan of Tanby at the start of the spring, but the way he ran in the Geelong Cup and then the way he won the Bendigo Cup, he's won me over.
Yeah, he's
just
kept
stepping up to the plate, hasn't he?
My highlight, well, obviously, it's hard to go past Edward Sadler's dancing, but if I had to, it would be More Joyce's win on Caulfield Cup Day, where the whole crowd just lifted as one to cheer the mighty mare home, and that's not having a stab at you because of Sister Madly. That was a highlight to see people cheering their hearts out at the races.
Well, let's look a little bit closer to home on Saturday, our best bets and roughies for the day. Nicholas, I'd like your best bet actually for the weekend. She's a 10 tonight at the Valley.
Absolutely. My best bet for the whole weekend comes up at Moonee Valley tonight. I'm hoping you might get $5 or $6 on this horse. She's a 10. Was brilliant last start, in the hands now of John Sadler after previously being trained by Tony Vassell. I'm not going to say anything ridiculous other than it looks an outstanding each-way bet.
And Secret Liaison is your roughie.
$26 on the fixed odds in race 3 at Sandown tomorrow. Or am I getting ahead of myself? It's race 2. Race 2.
Steph, you're making us head all the way to Ascot.
Certainly am.
For your best bet.
My best bet is Red Hot Sacks, race 7, number 2.
What was that one?
I was glad I read that actually.
I had to be very clear about how I said that. Red Hot Sacks, race 7, number 2. She won the Queen Stakes last start, a listed race over there in Perth, and she won very well. It was a blanket finish. There was 9 horses across the field, and I think there might have even been a triple dead heat for 3rd or 4th in that race. But look, she was going away, and I thought she was very impressive, and I think she can step up to the Group 3 level tomorrow.
I certainly haven't missed Natalie at all today, but I would have liked to have heard her had to read that one out. I thought that might have been entertaining.
And Miss Bindi to get out on the VAR.
She's my best roughie. I don't know how rough she will be, but I thought at 2 starts back at Sandown, she just never got clear running down the straight. And last start, she was very impressive. I just think she'll be hard to beat.
And the real tips. Norski for me is my best bet in the Sandown Cup.
You're right, Steph, he's arrogant.
I just learned from the best here. Norski to win the Sandown Cup, very impressive. And the Levarts from that based Macedonian completed the double last year. I think Norski can do the same. And as I mentioned before when we were previewing the Sandown Guineas, highly recommended to my roughie.
Well, just like when I used to get sad watching the Sooty show, it's time to say goodbye, I think. It's the end, Edward.
It is the end. We'd like to thank, obviously, Sportingbet. They've been a terrific supporter of the show, and hopefully we can continue our association with them. Make sure you get to Sandown tomorrow, because it's the last chance to see some good quality racing before the good horses take a well-earned break over the Christmas and New Year before we see them again for the autumn. And, yeah, been terrific fun joining you every Friday on the couch here, Nicholas, so hopefully we can do it again. I've got some more dirt on you each week, so...
Carry on.
The good news is we'll all be back very soon with a new season. Keep an eye on Twitter and Facebook for more details on that.
Well, a very, very big thank you to all the guests who gave up their time to join us on the couch. We had some very entertaining moments, some fantastic guests. A huge thanks, an absolute huge thanks to the cameramen Chris, Dave and Peter who filmed the show, put it all together, make us look okay from time to time. Simon, the producer, it'd be remiss of me not to mention the fact he's up 24/7 writing these scripts which we follow so diligently. So, regrettably, it is time to say goodbye. Thank you very much, Edward and Steph, for today's show.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you for having me on.
A big hello and a big thank you to my co-hosts who aren't here today, Bree Lachlan and Natalie Hunter. I'll be catching up with you both soon. And we're going to leave you for Chewing the Fat with some outtakes of some of the many highlights from the first season.
Nick's next year's hair, of course.
I thought you were going to say you got a little bit of a soft spot for Jake Stephens.
That's a bit ambitious.
Oh no, a little bit of blushing there. It will be the first time we've developed a bit of a romance on this set.
Hopefully we're good judges, Nat, although that intro shows that you're the best judge in Australia. Are you off the streets after Saturday if King's Rose wins the Cox Plate?
I'll throw you some food down from the flour drum where I'll be dining for the next week, Edward.
I did not back my Ruffy for a win. It is a place and I will dress as Wonder Woman if it doesn't place. I can't tell you how excited I am to be sitting here in costume when neither of you are.
Credit where credit is due. Nick Quinn's tipping feats have improved off the boards, and best bet of the day was his tip in the Kynan Cup, which Julie saluted. So.
Did you go to the races over in England at all?
Unfortunately, I didn't get to go to Royal Ascot or anything like that. I'm not sure top hat's my kind of style.
You look good in a top hat.
What are you going to reveal next? What groundbreaking revelations are you going to make next, Nat? That
After
Tuesday
last week
is the day that follows Monday, or that Nick Quinn's hair is obviously a wig?
There is a saying that a man that's good on the dance floor is good in the bedroom. So with that in mind, we show you this footage.
A few little words of advice. While I encourage using youngsters like Edward Sadler, he looks so young that are retracted from the credibility of this show. Alan's simple solution, I'm not shaving until next week.
Well, Bree, thank you very much for joining us again. You've been a spectacular guest.
Thank you, thanks for having me.
Edward, you've also been here.
I know you said don't send a boy to do a man's job, but gee, you haven't been doing the job at all lately, I have to say.
Okie doke.
One that I am going to include at about the $18 is the John Sadler, Edward Sire, trained horse named after his niece. She's a 10, who I think will give a good account of herself after a very impressive win last start.
So long as you stay away from Nick Quinn, it'll be a family day for everybody, so make sure you get out to Flemington. I think if Sabres doesn't run a place on Saturday, I think there should be something there for
cut
me.
your hair. Awesome. Deal done.
Done.
This program is proudly brought to you by Sportingbet.
This has been a Thorough Media production.